So it's been a little while since I've been here, guys. Last time I uploaded a video, we had the Diablo 4 patch notes for 1.1.4. And since then, I'm sure you all have seen the videos from like Woody Joe, Rax. I was kind of in the same position that they were, where I was like, you know what? I've been playing this game a lot, and I just decided, you know what? We're going to take a break from Diablo 4 because there really wasn't much going on. I haven't logged in the game for about a little over 2 weeks at this point, and I've been on to just enjoying some games, making videos for other games, and you might see that here, either maybe videos on that channel or on this channel, we'll see. But we have some exciting news today for Diablo 4. Hopefully. So tomorrow we have the big announcement that they've been dropping. So I wanted to get you all kind of prepared for that and some things that I'm looking forward to, or I should say that I kind of need to have inside the game that kind of will bring me to really enjoy. I'm definitely going to play the next season. There's no doubt about it. Even if they make zero changes, I'm still going to be playing, still going to be making builds for you all, and kind of updating those for season 2 because I enjoy that. But based on how they roll out season 2 will kind of determine how long I will be playing the game, because I'm sure many of you have experienced, to me, the game has a short lifespan. It's kind of like Diablo 3, where, okay, I went ahead, I got my build online, I beat my GR 150, I'm kind of done. That's kind of just how the game goes for me. And I was kind of hoping that Diablo 4 wouldn't be quite as short lived for the new seasons. And this is what's going to really change it, I think, this next patch, if they do the correct thing. So the first thing is they mentioned this is going to take multiple hours. They want to have like a 2-hour discussion for the update live stream, as well as like they could fit it. They couldn't even fit all the content they want to talk about in this developer update live stream. So there's a lot of stuff coming, and there's a little bit of a checklist here that Adam Fletcher posted. So first off, we have the October 4th developer live stream at 11 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time. So that's going to be tomorrow. I will be doing a summary video on that. I'll be watching the whole thing for you all and then giving you guys an update. Through this, you can see we have the in-depth discussion on all details for Season 2, the Season of Blood, walk through an extensive list of changes coming to Diablo 4, a Q&A, and more. And then the October 10th, this is going to be kind of like the second part to it, because as I said, they had so much to cover that they're separating it into essentially 2 update live streams. So the first thing is going to be a season 2 breakdown, more so than we got, hopefully, which I'll talk about that in just a second. And then for October 10th, we're going to get class updates, a deep dive on the damage bucket changes, the resistance changes, unique discussion, Q&A, and more. So the first thing, as for season 2, well, we kind of already know a few details about season 2 as they announced it to us a while ago, which I'll be talking about in just a second. The October 10th one is honestly the one I'm more excited about, right? Class updates are necessary. You know, they haven't really done anything to change the state of the game. If you have followed the channel, you might have known that there hasn't really been any videos in between because there has been 0 updates for Diablo 4 in between them. And to me, the builds that we had created, a lot of the builds that a lot of people were using, well, they may not be absolutely min-max, but they were good to complete those tier 100s. And honestly, as long as you've done that and you're farming quickly, there isn't really much improvement you can do. However, there were some big kind of annoying factors to like sorcerer, to barbarian. Like these classes are just not nearly as good, and they still aren't necessarily as good in a general sense. And so we still need change to that. So class updates are going to be necessary. A deep dive on the damage bucket. This is something that they've consistently kind of messed up. As I'm sure of you all remember the massive nerf to vulnerable damage and overall stats. That's because vulnerable was such a powerful mechanic. Same with crit. These two are kind of like hand in hand. Like, I want crit, I want vulnerable. Okay, what's next? That comes after you get those two things. If you don't have crit and vulnerable damage, you don't have a build. Tends to be what the case is, right? Overpower is a little bit mediocre because of its non-consistent factor or inconsistent factor. It's not really that strong. So they're going to have to do some major overhaul changes, and they have to be very careful about this because, to be honest, this is kind of what caused the season 1 issues that we have right now, which is that it's not nearly as fun, or it wasn't nearly as fun because of the massive damage drops and all these other changes to kind of the base stats and overall classes. Resistance changes. This is going to be a really important one because depending on how they roll out resistance changes can really change and shape the way we're building our characters. So I'm going to be paying very close attention to this. They mentioned this in previous update live streams and, kind of Q&As where, hey, resistance kind of sucks. It does basically nothing because you get so much base resistance that The diminishing returns are so much, it's not worth running any additional resistance on your gear. Between your amulet, your rings and such, you already have enough built into the gear that you don't need anymore, right? And in fact, instead of just going for resistance, you rather just go for armor, HP, that type of stat, because it's just better overall to reduce your damage. Discussion about uniques. I think this is going to be pretty important as well. There's a lot of uniques in the game that just have like 0 place, right? Like I think it's called Eyes in the Dark for the rogue, the pants here. Like no one's using, like there's very minimal use, if any, like specific niche use. And when you're considering a game where all you have to do is speed farm, like these uniques just don't have a place. Not only that, but there's also uniques that are just like dominant. Like you got to have this unique. For example, the Penitent Greaves, there's like so many builds are using that. That not necessarily is a bad thing, but it would be nice to see uniques actually shine to the point where you actually want to change up your build between different builds. Right now, there's a lot of uniques that are either just staples that you're going to use in so many different builds, or kind of like super niche, or they're just there for that build, right? There's some that are well balanced, I would say, but there are oftentimes a lot on two extremes. And then of course the Q&A, which I have quite a few questions. I think these are the key things, which is why I wanted to really touch on those. But as you can see here, this is kind of what we've gotten for this season 2 kind of summary, right? We talked about a new quest line, the vampiric powers, 5 additional endgame bosses. So I would really like to hear a lot more of the expansion of what they mean by vampiric powers, additional endgame bosses, and a quest line, right? Because they also talked about how they wanted to do a lot of Q&A, or quality of life updates, I should say. So like inventory management, gems, the functionality of some stuff, which I talked about in the October 8th, 10th update here coming soon for vulnerable, overpowering critical strike damage. But you can see here, we have things like the renown rewards are going to come, better target farming of uniques and uber uniques. Perhaps that's what they refer to in the uniques for the October 10th update, and the additional endgame challenges. I want to know if these endgame bosses are farmable, like you're going to be farming them and this is how you get endgame gear, if this is how you target farm uniques and uber uniques, because this could be a really, really interesting thing inside the game, right? Or if it's just going to be kind of a one and done, I got it, I'm good to go, kind of like Uber Lilith at the current moment. The vampiric powers, are these going to end up like the malignant hearts, or are they going to be something interesting and new? You know, the malignant hearts actually were quite fun, and I'm not going to bash them because I thought they were actually well done for the most part. You know, there's some unbalanced ones like the barber, which is a massive shadow overflowing or overshadowing basically all the good things about the hearts. But I think in the general sense, like giving necro quality of life through the malignant heart is actually really, really nice, or giving some specific bonuses are really, really cool. The barber is just an outlier, I would say, and yes, it is actually quite a big problem in terms of like build diversity. And then of course the new quest line, it's something that most people don't even care about. You know, people are going into Diablo 4 to kill monsters, and a lot of people just don't care about quest lines, right? So we got to make sure the endgame bosses and all that stuff are very, very interesting and able to hold people's attention. So to me, this is a lot less content and more, I guess you'd say, fixes, quality of life, that type of stuff, right? Again, if we look at our previous updates, a lot of that is in bug fixes, right? Or XP changes, CC changes, right? We haven't really seen any new content coming to the game. So when they refer to like talking about the details for Season of Blood, I'm really hoping that they have a surprise in store for us, because as I said in a previous video, I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt here and assume this is not all that they have. Because if it is, I think we're going to have a very similar situation as we did with Season 1. This is just not enough for people to bring people back, or for Blizzard to bring people back, right? You need a lot more content. You need interesting things to kind of create a new dynamic, or like just mix things up, right? Because people signing in for Season 2, oh, guess what? I got to grind all the way to 100 again. I got to kill the same monsters. And to some degree, that's just kind of any ARPG, and it will be fun because it's a new season. But the end game is where a lot of people drop off, and to me, this isn't really, I guess, boding super well. Like these things, it can be, but they got to give us the details. So overall, I'm wary. I'm hopeful. I know there's a huge negative opinion about Diablo 4 right now. I don't necessarily hold a massively negative opinion. In fact, the break I took with Diablo 4 kind of renewed my interest and got me excited to see a lot of updates. And I think that's probably, I recommend to everyone that might have been playing Diablo 4 for a while. You know, this has gotten me excited for Season 2. And I think that there's potential here, a lot of potential. It's just a matter of, can they do it? Will they do it well? And will they have the same situation where, oh yeah, season one's looking good, and then they just 180, give us a bunch of nerfs and kind of take the fun out of the game. So we'll have to see. Thanks for watching. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below, and I'll see you all tomorrow with a summary for that update live stream.